Hi, this is Karen, and I really am disappointed. And the reason I'm disappointed is because I follow a lady who I feel has had some absolutely wonderful discussions and stuff like that, topics which are very enlightening. However, one thing that I have noticed, and I'm sure others have come across this, is she is using other people's dialogue. She is using other people's words, literally word for word, and not even giving credit to that person in any way, shape or form. Now, this particular topic, what are the Akashic records? I have actually read that once before and was able to come across the PDF version. It does have some pages missing on books.google.com.au, but it's by a author called Camilet Cooray, and the title of the book is Akashic Records. What are they? How to access them? So I'm just going to go and have a look on this page. Bear with me. I'm going to try and open it into a new tab. So here is the actual book itself, and I just want to see how much of the book she has read or read from word for word, because I almost fell off my chair. So she's got two parts on this. Let's see if she starts off with, first we're going to talk to our brain. I don't know where she basically begins, but I'm going to start it from here, because when I got sort of like, as you can see where the highlight is, when I got to about there, I'm thinking, that sounds so familiar. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, it was familiar, alright. But when you actually have a look in her notes here, it says, Teal explains that the Akashic records is the human way of understanding that every thought that has ever been thought exists. Therefore, one aspect of collective consciousness is a vibrational record of every soul in its journey throughout all universes that have ever been before now, and all future potentials originating from now. She describes the Akashic as being like a library, but it's not Teal describing it. It is Camilet Cooray, who wrote the book, who describes it. And then she has not even mentioned Camilet Cooray in any of the notes. And to do something to an author, to take word for word from their publication, at least state, that you are reading it, instead of trying to give the impression to the people watching that it is actually something that is your own. Because anyway, I'm going to just start it. Let's see how we'll start with this.
Everyone knows that I have not the best vibration relative to technology. So let's hope this image turns out as good as I hope it will. Today we're going to speak to the brain. What we're going to speak to the brain about is Akashic records.
Okay. Today we're going to speak to our brain. Okay. Notice not in this publication, but today we're going to talk to our brain. So she's using these words. Okay, let's listen.
The Akashic records are a symbolic representation that the brain uses to represent the fact that every thought which has ever been thought exists. The Akashic record is the collective consciousness. It has been referred to as the mind of God, which as such happens to contain the information or the energetic vibration of every thought which has ever been thought in any and all universes that have ever been since the first division of oneness or source. It also contains a bit of future. What I mean by it contains a bit of future is, from where you stand right now, you have paths of probability which extend past your lifetime. The future is always a vibrational match to the present, and so if you change a thought in the present, the future paths change. So what exists in the Akashic record relative to the future is just probabilities which stem from your current vibration right where you stand in your life at this very moment. When we in human consciousness often think of this storage of thoughts, we associate it with a library, because that is what we in our human lifespans see as a collection of information. So often when people visit these nonlinear dimensions, the experience of being there is being pulled into linear understanding. So that which is nonlinear is being formatted in a linear way by the brain when you come back into third-dimensional reality. So it's a linear understanding upon re-entry into third-dimensional consciousness, and the entire experience is interpreted as sorting through records or images, so an image library of sorts. As some of you may have noticed, you can't get experts in any field to agree. I'm going to do a video on this later, what to do when no one can agree, but
I'm going to do a video on this later. This is where Camilet Cooray is saying they are going to do, where are we? Go back up here. I think I might have skipped over it. This is disgusting, honestly. I'm not saying she's a bad person, but she is reading this and claiming it as her own. Now, yes, this was done in 2012, but I came across it because one of the suggestions that was actually made on our private group was to do with, and I believe, okay, I have to research this in case it is something we want to talk about. I don't want to go in, with half the information, but it's, I've read it, but I haven't really absorbed it. And this is being honest. I mean, it was, quite some time ago when I had read it. So, and I'm not a big reader, and especially when I'm busy and everything like that, I can't, the last thing I want to be doing is reading. But I have read a few books, and this being one of them. And I couldn't believe that she's reading it word for word. She is even going to the extent of making a second part in her video, claiming it to be hers. Now, the comments down there are, let's have a quick look, because I actually wrote, why don't you give credit to the author? Some of them are saying, thank you so much for taking the time to make this. I'm so glad I found it, and you are simply brilliant. I'm a physics major with special interest in quantum physics, and you just helped me understand how I'm seeing a glimpse of something, and to think that she's taking credit for all this. She's taking credit away from this author who compiled such an intricate, detailed book. And, if she was going to at least say, to discuss the Akashic records, let me read you from the book of Camilet Cooray titled Akashic Records. What are they? How to access them? Nothing at all giving credit at all to that person. And I think that's wrong. You know, at least state where you've got the information from and where you're sourcing the words. I was really disappointed. I mean, she's got quite a lot of followers, and I'm not saying every single video is like that, but then again, I don't have every single book based on her topics. So I think when people are putting out a video and they're using someone else's work, then at least do the right thing. Give credit to the person who is doing that and taking the time to put it together. This poor person, their book on here on Google, it doesn't even have any reviews or writings or anything like that. Imagine if she, with all her 446,000 followers or subscribers, and I'm one of them, were pointed towards this person, she would be supporting them, giving all that credit, you know, of the fact that she's getting all her clicks and everything like that, and obviously paid from this poor person's work. So do you think that's right to do that to another person? So there's no ebook available, but you can get the printed book, and you know, obviously there are parts of this that are online. Some pages aren't there for obvious reasons, you know, otherwise they're stealing from the author, but she's done it already. She's done it already, and I find it absolutely appalling. So you can tell, as you were looking at the words on this side, she was following it word for word. But that person, had she at least put their name out there from the beginning, people would have been more inclined to, you know, buy that person's book. I don't really know whether she has her own publications, but she is certainly not Camilet Cooray. Her name is Teal, and I just feel that if you're going to do something like that, you know, and this person has barely got any ratings or reviews, and they've got none. Imagine if she had done the right thing. That person might need this book to make a living. That might be their only income, and she's rode on their shoulders by reading word for word. So just so you know that she is doing this, let's hear a little more.
I'm going to present to you some information which has never before been said about the Akashic records, because I'm not one of those who agrees with many of the experts as far as the Akashic records and their relation to interdimensionality is concerned. Conceptualizing of dimensions is something that...
I've had enough. Honestly, I've had enough. You can even see here she's taking credit as saying that she does not agree with many of the experts as far as the Akashic records in relation to the interdimensionality is concerned. So she's read it word for word, and she goes on to read it. So it's not hers, and I'm about to unsubscribe.